to me, gives a certain level of assurance to your business partners and to your organization for massive or large-scale cyber attacks. It could serve as a second line of defense in cases when you need additional funding to manage and control the damage. But look at how cyber insurance is evolving these days. It became very expensive already. Lesser coverage, higher premiums, higher share or contribution in certain incidents like ransomware. Thus, the best is still to educate your people across the different functions of your organization. But not only that, you need to upskill your technical resources, right? So that at the end of the day, they can take up certain cybersecurity or security jobs and help support the cybersecurity team within the organization.
Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Security Pill. My name is Vishwa Pandagli. I'm a technical writer at the Cyber Express. Today, we have with us Ms. Mel Migriño, who is the executive committee member of the ASEAN Chief Information Officer Association. Mel is the co-founder and president of the Women in Security Alliance Philippines, where she shoulders the responsibility of empowering women in the cyber ecosystem. So, hello, Mel. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good and I'm happy to have this chat with you, Vishwa.
Amazing. You seem so jolly. I would ask my first with over 20 years of experience in information security management and IT infrastructure, how has your journey been so far and what led you to cybersecurity? What is your vision for your professional growth?
Yeah, so actually, thank you for the question, and actually, good day for all of our online viewers. So, I started my career actually in the applications development team. So, I did a lot of work around software quality assurance until my colleagues told me that I may want to venture into another side of testing, which really borders on CIA. So
Oh,
confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which are practically, the core pillars of information security. So actually, I tried it and then became interested, went on taking up different lead roles in different organizations up to executive roles. And of course, the rest is history. My vision on my professional growth is really to help organizations to improve the way they look at cybersecurity, enabling them to do more business because they are secured and stable. I also wanted to bring our organization, specifically the Women in Security Alliance Philippines. It's an SEC non-stock organization to actually support the cybersecurity gap locally and within the region.
amazing. It's amazing to know that you progressed so well so quickly. How can women across the globe from various walks of life with different educational backgrounds and skills join cybersecurity? What kind of collaboration would it require for a more diverse set of people to join this field? And what might be holding women behind? So,
Yeah.
kind of doubts they might be having. Could it be family pressure or the fear of joining the world that deals with crimes?
Okay, okay. Okay. So many questions there. Okay, I will try to answer it one by one, Vishwa. So, um, cybersecurity is a profession. Aside from it being a profession, it is an advocacy. To some, it is even a vocation. Well, I think it's a vocation for most of the cyber defenders. Hence, it does not choose which gender you are, but it exudes gender diversity in terms of culture and capabilities. With the heightened threats that we have, gender equity across the region is a must to plan and execute measures to fight the adversaries. Since the measures to implement could be tedious, yet rewarding in the end, admittedly, male cyber practitioners or female practitioners per se who have been holding back with reasons like maybe too much stress, which could eat up majority of their personal time or family time, as well as the rigorous trainings needed for continuous upskilling. So basically, these are the ones that I am observing.
Hmm.
When left behind, some women can develop the feeling of holding back, which should not be the case, because being in the technology or in the cybersecurity field is actually a journey wherein you need to pass through phases that you can practically chew, that you can manage. So you will be able to reap the benefits of learning and being at par in the end. Think for the newbies, Vishwa, it could be a concern of the evolving threats when they cannot detect it, um, which eventually it can bring danger to them. But I think that is the whole point of the mentor and mentee programs within the context of technology and cybersecurity. We wanted to guide the starters so that they can assimilate well and eventually, effectively perform their responsibilities.
Right, absolutely. A good mentor can make a huge difference for someone who's new in this field. I totally
Yes,
agree with
yes.
that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so why do you think is there a stagnation in the skill gap and a lack of diversity in this field? Do you think cybersecurity is a difficult field, you know, for women, or rather as compared to other workplaces? And what are the challenges that women specifically might face?
Well, I guess because in the past, um, the work that is highly technical is attributed or very specific for men only, and that is driven by capabilities and culture. But now that has changed a lot already. As a practitioner, the work in cyber and in tech have its own strengths and weaknesses. It is just in cyber when we are more actually grounded. Why? Because there are regulations, contractual obligations, and of course, not to discount the increasing campaigns happening across the globe and the developing perspective on business resilience. So I'm pretty sure you've heard that buzzword. I mean, that has been out there for many, many years, but it's becoming imminent. I think started last year. Business resilience, cyber resilience, which is not purely tech in nature, but cyber and privacy are key pillars as well. So I think that what makes the work of the cybersecurity more difficult and challenging over the typical technology work. In cyber, you need to understand the work of the technology guys as well as the business people, so you can put in appropriate safeguards. But sadly, still many do not see it this way. As a woman advocate for empowerment, men are allies of change. So programs and initiatives cannot be attained without their support. Hence, they are instrumental in the overall growth. I believe the key is for men to realize and eventually open the opportunity for female practitioners for them to do the job, provide support until female practitioners can do the job well in the same level all others can do. So it boils down to the mindset, the support for gender equality at the leadership level is crucial, as this tone from the top will help mold the mindset and bring in the direction to equality in the professional arena.
Correct. Absolutely. In, even for me personally, I have had so many mentors, editors who are males and who've been so supportive. So I also feel, very comfortable when I have their guidance along with my other female mentors. Okay, so with your experience in disaster recovery, project management, information security, etc., what do you think is the most important thing in maintaining security in commercial enterprises? Could it be having the best cyber insurance or having the most sophisticated tools? What is something that companies should never do, and what area should they focus on to secure the systems in the best possible way?
Okay, I'll answer first the first part and then the cyber insurance because I have separate thoughts around cyber insurance.
Okay.
Cybersecurity revolves around or works with a lot of disciplines from enterprise risk management to BCM, IT disaster recovery, project management, applications development, HR, legal, supply chain, and many more. Hence, these are supporting disciplines or pillars that will aid in the full realization of a cybersecurity program being implemented within an organization. It is not always having about the most sophisticated tools, though it boosts your detection, protection, and remediation a lot better. But it is the culture and the risk appetite of the organization that matters at the end of the day. Business imperative around digital transformation or DX could be good, but if the execution of the governance and control is not implemented very well, then it will fail in the end. Now, to your question on cyber insurance, okay. Cyber insurance to me gives a certain level of assurance to your business partners and to your organization for massive or large scale cyber attacks. It could serve as a second line of defense in cases when you need additional funding to manage and control the damage. But look at how cyber insurance is evolving these days. It became very expensive already. Lesser coverage, higher premiums, higher share or contribution in certain incidents like ransomware. Thus, the best is still to educate your people across the different functions of your organization. But not only that, you need to upskill your technical resources, right? So that at the end of the day, they can take up certain cybersecurity or security jobs and help support the cybersecurity team within the organization. We also need to make wise investment on cyber sec technologies, understand them very well, as a lot of these technologies practically have duplicating and similar functions and features, admittedly. And of course, to secure the company systems assets is to adopt the shift left model, where in cybersecurity it is already included at the very start of the project, starting from the planning, or even to the time that you are still conceptualizing, this initiative or this project. Embed cybersecurity in all of the pillars in your organization. In that way, you can start building up business resilience at an early phase. So those are my thoughts.
That's amazing. I like that the fact you said that so many duplicate tools are also available. So it's best not to, waste a lot of resources on them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Sometimes you can go crazy with them.
Absolutely. Um, how far are we from achieving exploitation-proof infrastructure?
Mm.
What kind of development awaits that will bring us to say that now systems cannot be breached by, say ransomware? And how should tools and software be modified to make the most of the current scenario?
Okay. I don't believe in exploitation proof infrastructure. There is no such thing, actually. Well, at least to my perspective. Hackers are getting better and better, while the cyber defenders are stuck picking up the pieces and doing the firefighting. The advent of the chat GTP, I'm sure you heard a lot about it, seem
Yes,
to be
also bad.
promising, right? Seem to be promising, exciting, but it can also be abused, which is dangerous. So I think there has to be a lot of guidance and eventually regulations around the proper use of such. AI-enabled cyber defense tools and threat intelligence tools are good to complement your cybersecurity program. Also, it should be around customization. You can look at also consolidation of tools so it gets easy to manage, and the use of analytics and AI to practically adapt the changing TTPs, right, of the adversaries. um think the configuration of the different cybersecurity tools, as well as your core systems within your network, as well as the devices in your networks, should also be reviewed regularly. There should be adequate testing. I think most so of a proactive testing around trying to bypass your different cybersecurity tools and controls, so you can recalibrate your defense strategies. So I think gone are the days like, you're just following certain framework, and once you put it in place, so it could be a combination of a set of processes, right, policies, and then X number of tools, it's enough already. Now you really need to test it. And that's one thing to be cyber resilient. You need to know, like, given like what I have done, right? Can one or two of my controls be bypassed? So if it can be bypassed, then what can you do? So hence, you need to build stronger defense mechanism, that being the case.
Excellent. Now, Mel, cybersecurity has changed over the past decades tremendously. So, how have people, businesses, and governments transitioned in the way they handle cybercrime and understand cybersecurity?
Mm. Okay. Um, um, Before, actually, data used to be hidden, if you remember our younger days. Hence, they say that security is really about obscurity, right? But with the digital age and with a lot of API integrations, this cannot be done anymore. Sharing and the use of data should be legitimate with an
Mhm.
established accountability and required security controls. This should be the mindset in this digital age. So, for example, we have seen in the US, right? So they have this executive order already in Australia, following the attack on Optus, right? Last year, and Medibank, looking at this cybersecurity attacks seriously. So in our country, our Department of Information Communications and Technology is also calibrating our national cybersecurity plan. Why? Because we wanted to make sure that our national plan will be able to cater to the emerging threats that can affect our country, not only our country, but as well as the region. And so let me bring a bit of the conversation on the S-bomb. I'm pretty sure you've heard about the S-bomb, right, in the US, right? The software bill of materials, so which has been an ongoing talk, I think, for some time, and how this can be adapted, right, within the different regions across the globe. So I believe that there would be, I mean, S-bomb can be adapted, right, even outside of the US. Why? Because practically you have also manufacturers, right, business producers who are actually situated out of US, right? And there has to be some control in terms of certifying, like, is this particular technology or system resilient? Is it stable? Is it highly secured? And the way that I'm seeing it is that these are actually very good developments. So um it may not be called necessarily as S-bomb, right? But I'm pretty sure there would be an equivalent EO on that, as well as regulations around it. It only shows to me that cybersecurity is more than a national agenda. It is indeed a global agenda. So, like before the attacks are mostly on DOS, right? And then also web defacement. But now it is more on ransomware, doing multi-extortion, supply chain, data leakage rooted from credential harvesting, as well as security misconfiguration, not remediating identified security vulnerabilities on the onset. So just to name a few. So the aim now is to actually is really a disruption of a larger vessel, a disruption of an ecosystem. Hence, the way we craft our defense strategies should be wider in terms of physical and logical scope. So those are my thoughts around it.
Absolutely. This was really enlightening. You brought a lot of perspective to it. Um, Reaching our last question, what would you weigh more? important? Is it employee awareness training or privileged access management to create more security in an organization, and why? Would creating awareness for all employees work in the best interest, or giving privileged access for security?
Mm. Okay. I think with the nature of the threats these days, it is hard to choose one control over the other because awareness and privilege access management, these are part and parcel, of your IGA, Identity Governance and Assurance. So education, awareness, and access management are all foundational controls when you get to implement cybersecurity. You cannot leave one over the other or cannot choose one over the other. The approach must be holistic. Like for
Absolutely.
example, the implementation of the zero trust is across domains. So you look at zero trust from a digital user, right? Or from a user perspective, from data perspective, networks, application systems, of course, your devices, as well as analytics or AI. So those are some of the key targets. If you wanted to really consider zero trust, all that is foundational must be there and should be complemented with layered defenses within each zone.
Okay, so there is no picking and choosing one, everything has to be there.
Yes.
Okay, great. Mel, it was really amazing talking to you. You shared light on so many things, and you brought in a lot of new angles to the questions, to the answers that you provided. So it was really amazing talking to you, and I wish you all the best with your future ventures where you're going to support more women into cybersecurity.
Thank you. Thank you.